Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
What I discovered after being absolutely attacked and stung by well over 300 very angry yellow jackets. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again, Salt Strong Unchurched. Wow, what a week. And yes, I really did get stung by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of angry yellow jackets. Here's the story. My daughter is Shauna, my oldest daughter. She's 10 years old, and they call her Shauna the Nature Girl. She even has her own little YouTube channel called Shauna the Nature Girl. Loves everything outdoors. She spends every free moment, for the most part, outside, just not really afraid of anything in terms of going up and grabbing a snake. She just somehow, like almost magically, finds every lizard and toad and frog in someone's yard and be like, where did you find that? I was hiding right here. She knows exactly where to look. She's got a special gift about her when it comes to nature and just reptiles and animals in general. So that kind of sets the stage about who my daughter is and what really drives her and gets her excited. And then the other day, we had our yard guy. He came up and knocked on our door and he kind of showed me his arm, and he had been stung many times by some yellow jackets or wasp hornets. He didn't know what it was, but it was not good. His arm's swelling up, and he's like, man, you got a problem over here in this area. So I go to check it out. And, I mean, there's like a legit swarm happening. I guess he had, driven his lawnmower right next to or over this underground nest of yellow jackets. So I run away pretty quickly. I'm not a fan I'm not a fan of getting stung. I don't think most people are, but like I freak out. Like if I'm on a boat and there's like a bee, I'm not the guy who keeps it cool. I do not like these things. I hate getting stung. So I'm running away. I'm like, all right, I don't want no part of this. And then my daughter, Shauna, finds out about it. And, you know, she starts showing me these videos of how big these underground yellow jacket nests can get. And if you haven't seen it, you got to just Google it. There's a guy called the Hornet King. He's got a YouTube channel, and this is what he does for a living. He goes and basically removes these nests, and they're like 7 layers. I mean, they're much bigger than the size of like an NBA basketball, and can be 2 or 3 times the size of that. And so these things are massive, and all you see at the top though is the little hole. So it's a small hole, and there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yellow jackets going in and out of this hole, and all you know is there's something big underground. So Shauna's doing this research, and she's like, Dad, we've got to get this nest. Like it's a massive comb. Like it could be 7 or 8 stories high. And this is not a honeycomb. This is the type of comb where it's literally filled with babies. So this is a queen bee, or a queen yellow jacket in this case, is down there and has all these workers, and they're literally just reproducing at a rate that's tough to even comprehend. And new yellow jackets being born every minute down there. So these things grow really, really, really fast once they get going. And I'm like, no, Shauna, I think what we're going to do is they're going to call someone, or we're going to go at nighttime. There was a video where a guy basically puts a screen. So imagine like a pool screen. So at nighttime, they sleep just like us. They're very dormant at nighttime. So at night, you can go out there with a light, put a screen over it, and kind of line it with bricks so they can't get out. And you literally just flood it with water and soap, because that gets on their wings. They can't fly, and they basically just drown down there. And of course, the screen keeps them in. I was like, that sounds like a better idea. But she's like, no, because, you know, these yellow jackets are actually making this nest basically out of paper. I mean, it looks like paper mache. They're doing it from getting bark and basically little pieces of wood from trees and branches nearby. And she's like, if we put water on it, it destroys the whole thing. We got to have this nest. And so I'm like, I'm not excited about this. But something in my heart was like, you know what? This means so much to Shauna. It's all she could talk about. I was like, you know what? This is going to be one of those memories that I could tell the story at her wedding, right? I mean, this is kind of a monumental type of father-daughter experience. And I'll be honest, I was excited and also like scared to death. And then I ordered us a couple suits. So spring break, I ordered us a couple bee suits, just cheap ones on Amazon. And they came in, and so Shauna's like, all right, Dad, we got everything we need. Let's do this. And how you do this, meaning how you actually get to the nest, is you have to go down there, right, like put your head right next to the hole with a vacuum, like a shop vac, and you have to suck them out, which what could go wrong, right? And when I mean you suck them out, you're just trying to get a portion of them. The rest of them are literally attacking you and wanting to kill you. That's their whole job. They literally will sting until they die. And it is nuts to watch the one guy do it, but of course it's his job. He looks so calm. It's like, you know what? It doesn't look that bad on YouTube. Well, let me tell you, my friends. So the day comes, and guess what I do? I procrastinate. We had the whole spring break, and I kept putting it off. I was like, Shauna, I got a lot of stuff going on. And deep down, though, and this is going to be the big lesson here, I was scared. Like, I didn't want to do it. The more I kept walking up, and every night I go look at it, and I was like, I do not want to do this. I was literally nervous. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm tired of procrastinating. Shauna's bugging me like crazy. Let's just do it. So it was Monday morning, and get up early, and we put our little suits on, and we get out there, and we're filming this whole thing. So we are gonna have a YouTube video for you guys to watch exactly what happened. And like, my heart is pumping. She's a little bit nervous. She's like, yeah, this is crazy. And we start the video, start the shop vac, and I get down there next to this hole, and I got gloves on. I'm covered, but it still, when all of a sudden, literally hundreds. So each one of these nests, like the one that we had, probably had 3,000 yellow jackets, just to put in perspective, maybe even more. So just based on from what I've seen in these videos and just looking at what we collected in the shop vac, it's about 3,000 to 4,000 yellow jackets. That's even tough to comprehend. And so when you put that shop vac down and basically mess with their nest, you are sucking up some for sure. But all of a sudden, I'm talking hundreds, and we have the video footage to show this, hundreds of these yellow jackets are stinging me, and they're in my ear. I thought they were actually, like, some of them somehow were so pissed off and got inside of my actual helmet, which would really, 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 really been bad. And just our instincts in general, when you're getting stung and you're literally seeing, I mean, my whole arm was covered. Like, it was black of just yellow jackets stinging me over and over again. I did get stung 5 different times. And our instinct is just to run away. It's fear. It hit me. I mean, I've talked about my anxiety attacks. Like, my heart is racing. I flipped out, and both of us did. We both started running like we were like just. It was bad. I'm hoping the neighbors weren't watching and laughing, or they probably were, wondering why these two people in white suits are literally screaming. And so, like, we literally bolt. Like, I'm talking bolt, and I'm like, I told Sean, I was like, I can't do this. Like, no way. Like, this is just the beginning. We just pissed these things off, and there's a legit swarm. I'm talking now. There's probably 500-600 of these things just swarming around, ready to tag anything that comes near them. So I told Shauna, I was like, Shauna, I can't do it. I said, I'm so sorry. Like, fear had overtaken me. And this is the cool part. And this is the cool part about kids. She looks me in the eye and she's like, Dad, we can do this. And I looked at her and was like, you know what, Shauna, you're right. We can. And so I had to, like, psych myself back into this. I had already told myself, I'll just, you know what, I'm going to walk away. It's too much fear. It's easier just to pay someone to do it. But it was my daughter, of all people, little 10-year-old daughter, looked in my eyes and said, Dad, we can do this. You don't be afraid. And I was like, whoa, I get goosebumps just retelling the story. And brave little Shauna is like, all right, let's do this. And so we had to kind of psych ourselves back into it. We did wait a good 30 minutes or so for him to settle down a little bit. And we went in and we did it. And let me tell you, I did get stung 5 times, which absolutely sucked. because those yellow, they don't mess around. Like one of them tagged me. It must have been like the monster yellow jacket, because 2 days later, I still had a little welt. Like it was gnarly. I don't know how I even got through 2 layers of fabric. But we did it. And let me tell you, when I got done, I felt like, I felt like it was like, even when I like ran my first half marathon, it felt like that, like I had accomplished something big that scared me to death, that I honestly didn't think I could do it. And we did. We ended up, over almost a half day sucking up thousands of these things, and obviously killed them when they get sucked into a shop vac that's halfway full of water and soap. They just get down there in the sludge and they all instantly die. And we removed it. We were able to get this massive nest out, made Shauna's day. And I sat there thinking about this, because one thing that I hear over and over again with like anxiety or anything is I'm scared. It's always about fear. And the word fear is in the Bible so many times. And as much as I could tell someone the easiest way to end anxiety attacks is just to face it, just sit there and face it. But our body, just like my body was telling me to run, we want to run. And so I'm asking you, if you're listening to this, what's something in your life right now that you should be doing, that you're called to do, but it's scary as can be? It's like walking up into a hornet's nest. Even though you might be covered, and even you have your best armor on, there's still a good chance that someone could pierce it. Like these 5 of these hundreds of yellow jackets, and they literally were stinging me. There's stingers all over my clothes. Of course, only 5 of them got through into my skin. So what is something that maybe you're putting off? What's something that fear is holding you back, that you should be doing? Because let me tell you, after that was over, I felt like I could do anything. My confidence was sky high, from something as simple as removing a yellow jacket nest. I'm telling you, I was scared to death going back in there, and I just had to do my slow breathing and calm myself down, and just remember my daughter's words, Dad, we can do this. So what is it? I know with all of us, there's something that we feel like we should be doing, and usually we procrastinate on it, right? We put it off, and like I did, oh yeah, we'll do it the next day, or we just try to ignore it altogether and say, that's just too risky. That's not for me. And I believe this is why so many people go through life unfulfilled. It's a fear, right? There's this fear of man, what happens if I fail, or what are people going to say about me? How's this going to make me look? I talked about pride on the prior podcast, and so much of why we don't find true happiness and fulfillment is because we're not hitting our maximum. And if you've ever watched a movie that made you cry, let's talk about like anything from Rudy. A lot of us have seen that football movie, to even Disney movies, right, where this hero at the end accomplishes something big, something that in the beginning of the movie they were completely fearful of, or for or against, or just knew they never could do that in a million years. This is not for me, and they put it off. And like, no. Even Luke, Luke Skywalker, right? No, this is not me. I'm not a Jedi. And it takes his parents, getting killed to open up his eyes. And usually there's some kind of trainer, or someone like my little daughter in this case, just looking me in the eyes and saying, you know what, you can do this. But normally there's someone who comes in the movie that helps them out and is kind of like a guide or a mentor. Usually it's a grandparent or someone older like a Yoda, and kind of gives them just enough encouragement and just enough to know that they can do it. And then they become the best version of themselves. They accomplish something they never thought they could. And the big reason that we cry during these movies is because we see something in them that we know is inside of us. And many times the emotions that we're feeling are because we know we have greatness in us. We know that God has given us something great, and maybe we're not using it all the way. Maybe there's something that God has given us, and we know deep down, or maybe we don't know deep down, but we have a feeling, a gut feeling that, yeah, you know what, I probably could do this. And yeah, but I'm getting too old. And yeah, that was something I just dreamed about in high school or when I was in 4th grade, but I just can't do that now. What would people think? But that's what makes us great. Is facing our fears and going after something, whether it be super small, like, attacking a massive hornet nest or a yellow jacket nest, or if it's something really big, like quitting your job and pursuing your dream to do whatever it might be, or to even just amend a relationship, or to go public speak and share a message in front of your community, your church, or whatever it might be. I know there's been so many times where fear has held me back, and as much as I tried to kind of make excuses, there's usually always something in the back of my head, right? And there's probably it's something almost like an itch, like, oh man, I wish I had done that. And that's where sometimes regret comes in, is, oh gosh, man, I wish I just faced my fear and done it. And so I'm just telling you, regardless if it's facing, anxiety attacks, or if it's a new job or a new opportunity, or just doing something big that scares the living heck out of you, just do it. You just absolutely do it. Know that God will not let you fail if this is part of your plan. Okay? God will not let you fail. He will open up the doors, but he's not going to open up the doors if you don't take that first step forward. Right? And I think that's the massive, massive misconception is, all right, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Well, you still have to take action. As I talked about in the 2 podcasts ago, hanging out with the billionaires, it's like, man, all right, here's the vision. Here's what I know I'm supposed to do. I've got to take a step forward. You got to take that step forward, even if you're scared to death, even if your heart's beating 1,000,000 miles an hour like mine was walking into this massive underground hornet nest. So I don't know. I felt called to share that. It was a wild story, and I did. There was a lot of emotion, and when I was done with it, I was like, wow, we accomplished something that I was ready to write off this morning, that I literally, had it not been for Shauna, I would not have done it. I would have just called an expert to come in and do it. And I probably would have regretted it, but now I have an amazing story, something we'll never forget. We documented it, and literally, it gave me new confidence. Like, you know what, I could do some crazy stuff if I really put my mind to it. And I don't mean crazy like life-threatening crazy, but I could do some big things if I really just face my fears and take a step forward. That's all I had to do. I mean, right? I'm 15 feet away from this massive nest with pissed off yellow jackets. And I just started taking slow breaths and just kept telling myself, I can do it. I can do it. And went in there and just watched these things surround me and start stinging me left and right. But I just kept going, and turned the shot back on and started sucking those things out. Wait till you guys see the video, by the way. It's pretty funny. But I hope you'll spend a little time today just asking yourself, what is it? What's one thing that fear is holding me back? What's one thing that I know I need to face that I've always wanted to do, or that my spouse or my grandkids or kids or whatever have challenged me to do, or just something that maybe no one else knows about that you've always dreamed about doing? I guarantee in every one of our lives there's one thing, if not multiple, where fear is holding us back, and we've made 1,000,000 excuses. We've procrastinated decades, right? And we've just kind of put it on the back burner and made excuses on why we can't do it. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can. And if you still have any curiosity about whatever it is, just do it. Take that step forward, take that small leap of faith, and make it happen. Guys, I love you. I hope you'll do big things. I hope you share some stories with me. As always, my email is joe@saltstrong.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear your story. And if this was impactful and helps you overcome any kind of fear, I hope it does. And if you ever have the opportunity to try to extinguish or remove an underground yellow jacket nest, make sure to have many, many layers on. And just remember Shauna saying that, you know what, we can do this. You can do this. Talk to you on the next episode. 'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.